Ladies and gentlemen, I just sold this car in order to have dry powder to buy this cryptocurrency. So folks, I invite you to stick around until the end of this video because I want to talk about why I think this is the opportunity of a lifetime, why I'm taking so much personal risk and selling everything to my name in order to capitalize on this opportunity. As well, I want to run through some price predictions and how I think it best makes sense to think about a potential take profit strategy and capitalize on the wealth building financial freedom potential that this opportunity has to offer. So if that sounds interesting, folks, stay tuned. All right, what up, folks? Hopefully the audio is coming through okay. I wanted to make a little bit of a recording in my car because it's the last time I'm gonna have a car for a while. I'm getting rid of this thing. Folks, look, I wanted to make kind of a video talking about how I plan on selling my car in order to have more dry powder for PulseChain. And the reason why I'm doing this is for a couple of reasons. So number one, I just got to say that I own a 2022 Audi A3, and this thing is far too good for me. Far too luxurious for me. I should not have bought this thing. And the reason why I did is because I've been or at least attempting to be incredibly strict and diligent in trying to invest as much as I can over the last couple of years. I mean, guys, I don't try to go out. Like, I try and go out the least I can. I don't buy booze. I don't do drugs. I try and put as much money as I humanly can into the crypto markets. And so I've been doing this for years. I've been strict for years. And so I told myself, I'll allow myself one luxury, kind of one thing that's a bit out my price range, that's kind of a bit unreasonable since I'm, typically so strict, and I have been for years. But with the recent news of PulseChain testnet version 3 out hopefully soon, I've decided to double down on my investment thesis, become unreasonably bullish. I mean, folks, in terms, I've been saying this for so long, but in crypto, you're often sold a fool's errand, meaning you're often sold a bad choice. You got to either pick something safe that doesn't grow too much, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, or in an effort to try and pick something that'll grow more, you have to try and pick something wildly speculative, wildly new. But as I've been saying, with PulseChain, with PulseX, with Hex, you get the best of both worlds. Solid fundamentals, the possibility for longevity, plus high upside potential. If you look at how many other comparable opportunities have been in the crypto world over the last decade or so, there's been Bitcoin, Ethereum, arguably Cardano, arguably some Ethereum competitors. There's been a handful of these kinds of opportunities over more than a decade. And I think PulseChain is on the level of this kind of opportunity. And so I'm not letting it go by. I'm selling everything that's essentially not nailed down to the floors in order to get more PulseChain once it comes out. And even though it still might be a couple months away, that's fine. I just want to be in position and be ready to pull the trigger when the time is right. So, folks, let me know what you think. I know a lot of people in the comments have been saying kind of like, hey, Brandon, this is all rather unnecessary. You don't have to go all in. But I disagree, folks. I'm on a mission to try and be a successful investor. And I'm not going to let this kind of opportunity just fly by me. Folks, I was late to Hex. I will not be late to PulseChain. So just want to give you guys a bit of an update here. I'm getting pretty close to the dealership, so I'll let you guys go. Give you further updates later. We're here, folks. So why do all this now? We've been getting some updates from Richard Hart, the founder of Hex, the founder of PulseChain and PulseX, lately saying everything is up and running privately. The staking website is being cleaned up so it's easier for you, the validators, to get started. 32 million testnet Pulse
to be a validator. They're fixing the batch deposit feature. Great news. We also have a recent tweet saying when Pulse Chain testnet version 3 launches, that will also count as your warning that mainnet could launch at any time. So just to understand the timeline of how things are going to go here. Number one, we have Pulse Chain, a faster, cheaper version of Ethereum launching soon. If you look at what niche has been the single most consistent winner in the crypto markets, it's essentially been Ethereum competitors, layer 1 smart contract blockchains. Richard Hart is launching the latest competitor to Ethereum that is of extreme high quality. It's not out yet. There was a sacrifice phase happened roughly 2 years ago. That's been over for quite a while. So what we're having soon is called the testnet, where they're going to release basically a beta version, or what they think is the completed version. They're going to test it publicly, see if there's any problems, and if there's no problems, everything's good to go, or if problems are solved, they're fixed, we will have the launch of Pulse Chain sometime thereafter. And again, I invite you guys to like and subscribe. This new channel, all the support helps. But additionally, I want to do a 100x challenge when Pulse Chain launches. I want a dollar cost average $10,000 into Pulse Chain, publicly kind of talk about my strategy, my entries, that kind of thing, to see if a 100x opportunity is still truly possible in the crypto markets. Because again, like I mentioned earlier, there's oftentimes, so much risk you have to entail in order to try and find something with high growth in the crypto markets by getting into ideas that are largely unproven without a track record of success. There is a massive track record of success with layer 1 smart contract blockchains, which is why, again, I feel comfortable going all in on such an opportunity. But let's talk about price predictions. Let's talk about a future take profit strategy. But before I do, I want to mention one extremely, extremely important thing, which is the risk. Folks, all this is not without risk. I mean, the SEC is currently investigating Richard Hart, Pulse Chain, PulseX. There was, nearly $2 billion sacrificed between Pulse Chain and PulseX. So some people say that, hey, can we really get 100x with all this economic energy already in the system? And with these SEC investigations, there's some unknowns as to how the future of this ecosystem looks like. There are risks, but with that being said, I believe that the tokenomics, the fundamentals, the adherence to the principles that made DeFi valuable in the first place give enough meat on this bone to make it worth taking a chance on, at least for myself. And as we get closer and closer to the launch of Pulse Chain, you're going to hear a lot more people talking about 100x opportunities, 1000x opportunities, 10,000x opportunities. And regardless of what we end up getting, whether 100x or 10,000x, those are likely to be life-changing gains for quite a lot of people. And so the thing I'd like to stress on above all else is how I think it makes sense to form a take profit strategy and be able to realize the gains that this potentially life-changing opportunity has to offer. Because believe me, folks, if you don't put in concrete a solid plan based off objective parameters, you will find yourself in a position making decisions based off emotions come the next bull market 2025. And if you're in that position, you're likely to do what the vast majority of other people in that similar position have done and find a way to mess it up. You don't want to spend all this time and effort and personal risk only to watch the number go up and then crash massively because you allowed your emotions and your euphoria to guide your decision making instead of an objective thesis, logic, something of that sort. Now, historically speaking, I say this so often, so many of my videos, because it's so true. One of the most important factors to consider when making a take profit strategy and thinking about potentially capitalizing on that 50x, 100x, 1000x, 10,000x, whatever it may be, is following Bitcoin in the Bitcoin cycles. Because understanding when Bitcoin shows signs of weakness, historically speaking, has been an early warning indicator for when to take profits on the altcoin market. And yes, there's the argument that the Bitcoin's influence on the rest of the market will go on to diminish over time, and that the Richard Hart ecosystem may be, to some extent or other, decorrelated to most of the rest of the market. And while I may agree to that, to completely throw the massive relevance and historical correlation that Bitcoin has had with the rest of the market out the window completely, I do not think makes sense. I do think it still makes sense to incorporate Bitcoin into a future take profit strategy, because what I'm trying to get at is that historically speaking, 6 months to a year after each Bitcoin halving, every roughly 4 years, when a Bitcoin being introduced gets cut in half into the market, causing a supply shock and a psychological change in the market, which causes buy pressure. People get euphoric. Euphoria is ultimately unsustainable, and then we overcorrect to the downside, and then we just keep oscillating in this kind of 4-year range, because markets always exist and oscillate in extremes and can never exist in one extreme forever. So, folks, come the next Bitcoin halving, March 2024. Next bull market likely to be roughly sometime second half of 2025, at least when shit gets real stupid. The next time that happens and Bitcoin starts to lose its parabolic shape and start to show signs of weakness, that essentially gives, in my opinion, a 1 to 2 month early warning signal to start taking profits on altcoins such as PulseChain. This is not a perfect strategy. This is not a strategy intended to call the exact top. This is not a strategy that will work for everyone, and this is not a strategy that I'm even recommending to you. All I'm saying is that when I relied on my emotions to take profits in the past, I failed to take profits. And so this upcoming time, I'm trying to construct some kind of strategy to at least capitalize on the majority of what this bull market has to offer. Because historically speaking, Ethereum and other altcoins reach their all-time high, cycle all-time high, roughly a month or so after Bitcoin. So if you can roughly accumulate a cycle low and roughly sell a cycle high and then rinse and repeat, I think that's one's closest bet to try and realize 50x, 100x, 1000x, 10,000x gains. Instead of waiting for these arbitrary price targets, follow the signs that the market gives you. Look out for those signs of weakness. Believe me, folks, I'll be talking about them on this channel as I see them. So like and subscribe. And then use the signals the market gives you to take profits instead of waiting for arbitrary 100x, 1000x price predictions. I think the people who do that will be far more profitable than the people who don't, which is why I'm making this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, new channel, so I appreciate all the support. If you like and subscribe, and most importantly, share this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, folks, take care.